Hey everyone, today we're going to be performing a battery change in a Casio G Shock GA-100B, and this is the 5081 module, so let's get right into it. To perform this battery change, we're simply going to need a small Phillips head screwdriver, ideally metal tweezers, but if you don't have metal tweezers, you can just use a metal paper clip, and our replacement battery, which is a CR1220. Really quick, I wanted to note that you do not have to remove these straps since they're not blocking the case back, but I'm going to go ahead and remove them just so you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit easier. So our first step in this battery change is simply going to be to remove our 4 case back screws, and we'll set them aside for later. Now with our case back screws removed, we can go ahead and lift our case back right off. And don't worry, sometimes the rubber gasket will come off attached to the case back. We'll reinstall that when we're reassembling the watch. Now that we have access to the insides of the watch, we're going to want to come in with our tweezers or paper clip and slide under this white plastic retaining ring. And we're going to go ahead and pull right up. Get that out and set it aside. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip my watch over here. As we can see here, there's a little tab, and this is what's holding our battery in place. So we want to come in with that tweezer or paper clip, come behind the tab, pull out towards us. That'll unlatch the battery housing. Then we can go ahead and grab that old battery and get rid of it. Now we can come in with our new battery. Again, this is a CR1220, and I always suggest holding it by the sides if you don't have finger covers on. We're simply going to drop it right in place there and push this latch closed. You'll usually feel it click into place, but you may need to give it a little assistance. I'll just take something pointy and push that tab right down, and now it's securely latched in place. Next, I always advise trying to get that plastic retaining ring back in place if you can, but you may have noticed when I took it out, my module slipped out of place. That's super common for this module. It happens all the time. So what we simply want to do is grab our tweezers or paper clip, and on all 4 of our buttons here, we see these little plungers. We simply want to pull out towards the module and gently push in, and you'll eventually feel the module fall right back into place. They simply get caught up above the plungers that these buttons use, so we just have to pull them out of the way, lightly push down, and then our module will be properly seated in there. So now that our module is properly seated, we can come back in with that plastic retaining ring and get that in place. So we simply want to find this groove here, and we want to match that with this metal tab that's sticking up. We'll simply drop it right in place. It'll slide right down, and now we no longer need to worry about our module shifting to and fro. It'll stay in place with that retaining ring. At this point, we're ready to perform our AC reset. This is simply going to reset our module to factory defaults, clear any errors if there are any. This is where having those metal tweezers will come in handy, but if you're using a paper clip, you simply want to bend it into an arch. You just want to have 2 metal points. So we're going to look at our module here. We can see this little label AC, and it's pointing into this hole. There's a little gold tab at the bottom of that hole. What we simply want to do is grab our tweezers or that paper clip, contact one end of the metal to that gold tab and the other end to this metal on the module, and hold it for about 2 seconds. And next, to ensure that we perform the reset properly, I always advise holding a finger over the spring here just in case it tries to fall out. You don't want to lose that spring. It's important for the sound of your watch. Go ahead and flip my watch over, and we should see it start flashing sub. So now we know that our module has been reset, and we are good to go and reassemble the watch. So our first step in reassembly is going to be to put our case back gasket back in place. It's simply a circle. We're going to drop it right into the groove here. And I like to make any fine adjustments if needed. We just want to make sure it's perfectly seated in that groove. Next, we can go ahead and reinstall our case back. So we simply want to remember that that metal tab sticking up here indicates the lower portion of our watch. We want to make sure that our G Shock and Casio logos are properly oriented. So we're going to drop it right in place, and you'll feel it fall right into the grooves there. Now we can go ahead and reinstall our 4 case back screws. What I typically would do is keep my thumb on the case back, drop my screws in, just get them started, and now all that's left to do is snug them up. And remember, they don't need to be super tight, just snug. Now I'm going to go ahead and reinstall my straps, and then I'll meet you guys at the final step. So our final step is going to be recalibrating our hands. The reason we have to do this is because when we perform the AC reset, the watch essentially thinks wherever the hands were left is 12. So when we set the digital time, it'll display the incorrect time. So to do this, we're going to press and hold our forward button, our lower right. We'll hear the watch beep, and then we'll see that sub start flashing again. Now we're controlling this little sub dial on the top here. This we can only move one at a time using the forward button. We want it to be pointing straight up at 50. Once that's calibrated, we'll press mode, and now we'll see 000. So this is our minute and hour hand. We want this to be pointing at 12 o'clock, and this we can use reverse and forward. And once those are calibrated, we'll simply press adjust once more. And now when we set our digital time, our hands will also display the correct time as well. So that's all there is to it. As we can see, all of our modes cycle through. Our backlight works, and if we press and hold adjust, we can see that our beep is still audible. So our watch is ready to wear again. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this battery changing tutorial. I really hope that it was clear and helpful. If you have any questions for me, please be sure to leave them down in the comments. And if you're interested in more tutorials and watch related content, please do consider subscribing. I cover a wide range of G Shock, Baby G, and Casio products, so stay tuned for more. Thanks everyone.